Oh, there it goes. Everybody look up and watch out. It's Keep Up with Still Insane. I'm here with the rest of the Keep Up crew. Let's get into some motherfucking shout-outs.
Oh, hell no!
It's time for some motherfucking shout-outs.
Man, I get better singing that every time. No, I'm joking. So, Mariah Bailey, she is a full-time producer on a very famous talk show. We will get into that very soon. She is so talented. We have done a panel together, and she has a shout-out for us this week. Who is your shout? Oh, you have multiple shout-outs, actually. Tell us who you're shouting out, Mariah.
I want to shout out Propelled Media Mentorship. That's where we met. That was awesome. And then 2 other podcasts, Hard Candy and Fruit Snacks. It was started by a really great friend of mine, basically opening up the conversation between all the racial tendencies and the inequities that are going on. She grew up in Boston in the ghetto, but was afforded the opportunity to go into, the good school system. And she was always the only Black girl. And she had this best friend. And they just talk about growing up. And that podcast right now is making so many moves and is bringing so much awareness to that Boston community, and they're just awesome. And also Rose Above It podcast, a great friend of mine, Trifton, he is heading that out, and really it's gonna hopefully give, Joe Budden and all those guys a run for their money one day. But yeah, super proud of them. So I want to shout everybody out.
Oh, you're the best. Yeah, like I said, you're the first person to do multiple shout outs. We love it. The more the better, man. More eyeballs on this show. Let's do it.
What the fuck happened?
Oh my God, what is that?
All right, this is the section where we do viral news, which usually is a lot of politics, but who knows? There was a girl who put super glue in her hair, or Gorilla Glue, and a plastic surgeon had to fucking take it out. So I guess that's pretty viral too, and not political. What would you do if you found like your niece, your daughter, your friend with Gorilla Glue?
Beat her.
Right. That's the West Indian in you. I like that.
That's the West Indian in me. Okay. First of all, who told you to do that? Who gave you this Gorilla Glue? I ain't taking her to no surgery. You gonna sit there and you gonna glue your hair. That's it. That is how it is. Even funny enough, my baby niece, she's 7 years old now. My sister has thick eyebrows. So my niece, she's like, well, I don't want thick eyebrows like you, Mom. So she took an eyebrow shaver and didn't know what she was doing. Shaved off her eyebrows, and now she's no eyebrows. And we're like, good for you. What did you learn? And now she's becoming creative, wearing her glasses all the time. So yeah, Gorilla Glue girl. And then she has the nerve to sue them. I'm like, she's suing them for not putting a disclaimer to not welcome to America. I'm just like, what? Like common sense. And the fact that she was trying to promote that, edge control ain't that expensive, sis.
Edge control.
Not that expensive.
She was looking like that movie Baps. She was looking like the hit. Right? I love that movie. Shout out to Countess Vaughn. Right? Who passed? Who's the one who passed from the Parkers? It was not Countess Vaughn. I love Countess Vaughn, and I love my homegirl Monique. And again, shout out to her. She's still battling Netflix. I hope she wins that out. We talked about that on the show before. It's getting fucking shysted.
I didn't know she's still battling them. That's insane.
Yeah, man. Yeah. If she wins this, it's a big deal, man. And I think they're going to show how they determine how they pay their stars. If it comes,
they're going to have to.
Yes.
And now they're going to have that standard. They don't have a choice.
Yes, good. Because I'm a fan of Netflix. Netflix and HBO Max are like my favorite streamers. I love them all, but those are my favorite. But fuck Netflix for that shit, man. Like we said before, Amy Schumer is great, but she's not an Academy Award winner, and she's not as funny as Monique. She's not even close to as funny as Monique. And Monique was offered $400,000, and Amy Schumer was offered $2 million. Not fair at all. And then Dave Chappelle, we talked about it before. For only 3 specials, he got around $50 million. And Chris Rock got $40 million for one. Again,
Right.
she's not on the level as Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle.
And so that's the argument. And unfortunately, that's the argument. It's like her brand is not all the way up there. But I also get where she's coming from. In comparison, $400,000. Like, come on, this is Monique. You can throw her a couple mil. Like, that's insane. And there are so many different stars and actors like Jonah Hill, when he went into Wolf of Wall Street, he took the SAG minimum to do that role, but he didn't care.
I didn't know that.
He took. Good. He was fantastic, but they said, we're not giving you X, Y, and Z, even though that's what he was worth. They wanted to replace him with someone else. And they said, he begged them, and the SAG minimum is pathetic. It's like, I don't know, like,
I don't know what it
60, is. It's like, it's not a lot. It's not a lot. It's a joke.
He's made a lot of good money.
Right. And that's the reason why he agreed to do it. He's like, if I get to be with Leonardo DiCaprio, like, I don't care. Like, I will do it. And he got nominated, so it was worth it. But it's just like to kind of, I hope Monique stays in the good fight and just,
Me too.
At least what will come out of it is that standard. And then this at least couldn't happen to somebody else again.
That's right. You know who I miss from Queens of Comedy also? Some more. I love her, man. Swang. That's my homegirl. That was really good. Queens of Comedy, that is way too slept on. I love Kings of Comedy, but Queens of Comedy is right there. Love it. Asian American hate crimes. Not good news, guys. So obviously, there's a lot of speculation that the virus, the COVID-19 virus, came from Wuhan, China. But that's not determined yet. It was also in Italy at the same time and New Zealand. So, but if you're lazy and you just look at headlines all day, it came from Wuhan. And so we have a lot of Asian Americans in this country, as you know, a lot of them in New York City, and a lot of elder Asians are here. And they're getting beat up. They're getting killed. It's disturbing. And hate crimes for Asian Americans is up 1,900%. You heard it right, 1,900%. 1,900. That is disgusting. And that's the reason why I don't call it the China virus. That's why I don't call it the Wuhan virus. I don't care if it came from there. It just has too much ramifications. It just has too many consequences towards people we love, our citizens, our people. I don't get it. You tell me. What makes sense of this, Mariah, please?
I mean, there's no sense to be made of it. At the end of the day, there's all the different viruses that have come into our society at any point in time. Tuberculosis. Are we going to go beat the crap out of a bunch of Europeans? Or the plague? Like, what do you mean? Or Ebola? Let's mess up all the African Spanish flu. Let's ban all of them. Like, what? Like, what's the problem? And at the end of the day, what is beating up some old Asian people going to do? What is beating up any Asian people going to do? Is that going to stop the virus? No. First of all, 6 feet. Don't touch anybody. Like, let's do that. You're the problem, And it's like, I don't know. Just, I feel like people, unfortunately, if you have a bad heart, you're going to look for any outlet to do bad things. And it's ignorant and it's stupid. And I don't even care about calling it the Wuhan virus I don't care. That's the name of it, right? Look at the hurricanes we have don't make any sense. Like, why do we have to, Hurricane Andrew, Hurricane Ann, and it happened like Memphis, Tennessee, like has nothing to do with anything. Who cares? Like, who cares? And it's not like it's inherent in you. I don't know. I think that's ignorant and it's just not helping the bigger cause in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. And it reminds me of 9/11. When we saw the video, the fake video, it was doctored. We found out later, but at the time, a lot of people thought it was real. I think it was people in Syria burning down an American flag, but a lot of people thought that it was people from Afghanistan and Iraq. We were incorrect about that. That was not accurate. And people flooded the streets to beat up Muslims all across America. And like I said, like you said, it's just pure ignorance. So hopefully my Asian American friends and colleagues and people out there, stay safe, keep your loved ones safe, keep your the elder people in the Asian community and Asian heritage is the lifeline, is the backbone of their society. So I'm hurting with them. I feel so sad for them. Speaking of, sorry, and I forgot to mention the shout out to my friends out there. The memorial and the funeral's happening soon. My man Shawn, Anthony Laurenceu, my Jamaican brother. Same age. We have like the same humor. That's why it like hurts so much, to be honest. He's a funny guy. We follow each other on everything. I was actually selling some weed too last year. But I know somebody was asking me, like, how did you see Shawn so much? I'm like, but it was an open secret. It's okay. He indulged in the finer things, so it's all good. It's all good. So shout out to Shawn up there, man. I'm not a religious person. I'm not a spiritual person. I'm sorry, Steve Harvey, I can't work for you. But but I definitely, if there's a higher power, if there's a higher being, Shawn deserves to be there, man. So briefly, what do you think about Marjorie Taylor Greene and her QAnon conspiracies? A couple weeks ago, she had her committee powers taken away. A lot of people say Ilhan Omar. That's why I included her on the and I'm a fan of Ilhan Omar. Everybody knows I'm a liberal, pretty much. So, but with Marjorie Taylor Greene, she has promoted conspiracies of child pedophilia. Biden's the head of it. If Trump doesn't get elected, we're all going to be sucked into this freaking child circus ring or something like that. And to get back to Ilhan Omar, a lot of people, when she said that Israel is pretty much a diplomatic situation. They're not our ally. It's a financial relationship. I agree with her. I don't think that Israel is like our enemy because of that. We give money to Egypt too. Egypt don't like us. You know what I'm saying? So like we give like almost the same amount of aid, $3 billion in aid to both of them. So I agree with her. I don't think that like she was saying like she was trying to be offensive. I don't think she was saying like all the Jews in New York City go back to Israel or go back. Like she wasn't saying anything like that. But Marjorie Taylor Greene, she just does a lot of shit. And I personally don't think that she should have a head in any committees. And like I said, a lot of people feel that Ilhan Omar is in that same breath. How do you feel about that?
I mean, Miss Greene is clearly not well, but it's fine. Like it's fine. Those kinds of theories. Like I heard, didn't we hear that about Epstein? Right? Wasn't he supposed to be in this crazy pedophilia circle?
Well,
like everyone, he was
he
right?
Definitely was. Yeah,
right?
He definitely was.
Oh yeah, I totally agree, right? But it's like everyone's going to say anything they want. There's a bigger plan ahead, and the reason she's saying that Trump wanted to be reelected and him wanting to be in, him even running for another presidency had nothing to do with us as Americans. It has nothing to do with us and our platform. It has to do with him winning. And listen, I know a lot of people that, and I respect it, they vote for principles. They do not vote for people. So a lot of people dislike Trump and they still voted Republican because they vote for the platform. And I'm not against that in any way, shape, or form. But like for her, they're pulling out anything they can possibly pull out. And they're purposely trying to appeal to those geniuses that the group of people, unfortunately, that stormed the Capitol, the fools, the people who are going to believe these silliest and craziest things. And I feel like that's her claim to power. But I don't think that's at all comparable. Yes, I do agree, just very matter of factly. Yeah, it's a financial relationship. What else? But she's also in a position that if she said anything would be a problem. That's how I feel. This country doesn't really, I mean, that's like going to change now. Yeah, like, I mean, half the country was saying, yeah, leave all these people out of the country because that's what people think now, unfortunately. You can't have almost a diplomatic like approach to something. It has to be you're either completely for or completely against it. And I think we just need to change that narrative.
Hopefully, man. I'm not a Biden fan, but I'm really rooting for him to break up some of this hyper partisan. And I totally agree with you. So it needs to stop. I don't personally think I'm a moderate. I don't think it's the appropriate time for me to be a moderate, but I would love for that day to come because you're right. I don't want to just be, I want to come to the middle on a bunch of things, but that's just not how the way it's going at the moment. Mm-hmm. So, my bad. Yes, he did not get impeached again. He has been impeached twice by the House, but he escaped the Senate once again. And this time, Mitch McConnell, Mitch Machoke this time, not Moscow Mitch. He's now Mitch Machoke. And he reversed. Last week, he said that he would vote for Trump and his impeachment. And this time he did not. Not this time. He followed through last time and did not vote to impeach him, but gave us a lecture. So it's kind of like getting beat by your father and then getting a lecture afterwards. It was like, thanks, Mitch. You didn't vote to impeach him, but now we got to get a fucking lecture of like why he's bad. If he's that bad, you shouldn't have impeached him. So Lisa Murkowski, all these motherfuckers. Actually, she's the only one that is up for re-election, and so she's in trouble. We talked about this in the pre-show. Please repeat it for our audience. Do you feel that these impeachment trials were a waste of time, or do you feel like this? Okay, there we go. You can win straight for it.
Waste of time. I mean, we're really just like a really bad reality show at this point in time. That is what our government has been, I think, in the past 4 years. But what was the purpose of trying to impeach him again? Who cares? He's out of office. Who cares? Like, who cares? Who cares? He is not going to answer because unfortunately, sometimes, in this country, if you have enough power and influence and money in certain places, you're going to get away with it. I generally don't know what anyone was trying to achieve. He got impeached twice. I mean, can we leave him alone? I just want to move forward. Like, he wants people to keep talking about him. He wants to stay relevant so that in 3 years, people don't forget about him and remember and see a happier life without him. And it's like, just leave Trump alone. Pretend he doesn't exist. Like, what was... like the Tiger King, like that fool asking people for pardons. Like, yes, nobody think about you. Nobody think about you. You are foolish, okay? Just because this little documentary came out about you, you think you are relevant now. Nobody cares. It's the same thing. We have to do that to Trump. We need to just ostracize him, pretend like he doesn't exist.
Get in the corner and think about it, Trump.
Yeah, right. Get in the corner, put on your little dum-dum hat, and think about what you've done. Like, and just ignore him. Ignore him. That's it. That is the best way to deal with this man. Twitter did that by canceling him. They don't know how upset, which was so great. They attacked his ego in the best possible way.
He's on Gab now. He's on the conservative alternative to Twitter. It's called Gab. That's where he's at now.
Well, he can have a great time there because again, it's just like it's attention. You want attention.
Yo, Gabba, good time. Like
okay, have a great time. But I just feel like our country, we need to move forward and we need to just press on, leave that in the past, and try to find a different future.
Him being on Gab reminds me of like little kids when you like unplug the controller and they're still playing and you're just like, look, I beat the bad guy. You're like, oh, good job, Trump. Good job.
Right.
So I'm with you, Mariah. Everybody ignore this orange fool, except for you, Letitia James. Keep trying to bring those criminal charges. I love you, girl. Anyway, we don't like, so I totally agree with you. So there's really nothing for me to say on that. He made it through. And like I said, I hope he goes to jail. But you're right. I prefer never to hear from him ever again. So if I had the choice for him to be locked up and he still was like squawking and his family was squawking, or there was an option for him to just totally be quiet and not go to jail, I would take the quiet option. And
the more trials we put up, I feel like our tax dollars have to somehow be affected by this. So stop wasting my money on this fool. Like, come on. Can you just stop? It's fine.
Sure.
He is never going to be able to come out of this a businessman ever again. You know what I mean? Like the amount of, even in New York, like the amount of companies and buildings, especially in Manhattan, that are like shutting down. Like they want to take his name off their buildings. Like we've crushed him. Like let God do his job. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let go, let God. Like
I would have preferred they censured him because then he couldn't run for office ever again. That I would have preferred that over the impeachment hearing. And They tried to censure Cindy McCain. They've tried to censure a few people for not supporting Trump. And I talked to one of my friends. He's a Trump supporter. Supposedly he's not anymore. And I was like, you're full of shit. Because if he were to say that he's running in 2024, he's a cultist. So I'm like, so I agree. His base is out there. And that's why a lot of them didn't impeach him, because a lot of them want that base. A lot of them want to tap into that base and be like, yo, I'm still for Trump. Vote for me too. And a lot of them that incited the riot also, Haley, Cruz, Nikki Haley, all of them, they are still trying to go for the president's office in 2024. So they got to keep where the votes are at. All right. Vaccine shortages. Briefly, we are getting more of that. The administration is bringing more vaccine. I haven't had a vaccine myself. I think my mother has had one of them. She's at risk. She had cancer. My grandmother's about to get one. One of my cousins, he works for Amazon. Actually, he was a producer on the show once. This dumbass. He goes, well, I work every day. How come I'm not getting it first? I'm like, and he said it to my grandmother. I'm like, oh, you're a fucking fool, man. Jeff Bezos deserves to put you out in the field somewhere and shoot you, motherfucker. Like, don't ever talk about my grandmother like that, Harry. Love you, Harry. Love you, Harry. But don't you? And he doesn't watch the show anymore, so fuck him. But anyway, vaccine shortages. And speaking of old people and Cuomo, I did not vote for Cuomo, by the way. I am a liberal, and I don't consider him a liberal anyway. But I voted for the woman from Sex and the City, Cynthia Nixon. I love Cynthia Nixon. And I voted for Larry Sharpe. Larry Sharpe. That's my first Republican I ever voted for in my life. He's a libertarian. I don't know if that counts. But my man Larry Sharpe, he's a biracial dude just like me. And I just don't like Cuomo. I don't like Cuomo. So I'm not shocked. When he got the Emmy, when he got the Emmy for handling the code, I was like, I don't know, what are you talking about? Like, and not to say that like we're doing better, like we're doing worse than Florida or like California. Like, I think all of us messed up. I think the whole United States, I don't think any governor should get an award. We fucked up royally. And I don't think it was totally their fault because we had a president that didn't have like a national plan. But you're the second in line. You're the head of the state. You fucked it up. So, yeah.
I mean, just like with Cuomo, he did what he could in the beginning, right? And, you know, me and my family, we get into this debate because, again, no one could be in the middle. It's either one side or the other. I totally take COVID very seriously. And it's scary, you know, sure. However, am I terrified to death from getting it? No, because I know more people that have gotten it and lived than people who have gotten it and died. And True. So you have to, people, you know, they're not understanding the rhetoric. They're not truly understanding what the media is doing. There's over a 90% survival rate of COVID, over a 90% in all age brackets. And of course, the media is going to focus on the less than 10%, but people don't realize that the number one killer, ask any EMT, usually throughout the year, all the time, is the flu. About 1 million people die from the flu every year, but you don't hear about that on the news, right? Or then you would be terrified of getting the flu. And so
there was an epidemic a few years ago, and as a matter of fact, I marketed that when I worked at Columbia. We had to get.
Oh, well, it's like that every year. It's like that every year. And so, because I dated this guy, and because I had said that to him, you know, that one year, he was like, "No, it's just that one year. Every year that many people die." And he's like, "I don't know why they blew it up that one year, but I feel like people need to just ask more questions."
No, it did rise that year. No, it was at a very, very high level.
Oh, no, I
we're
agree.
Not done with it either. Like the flu epidemic is still around. Like it's not.
Exactly. But are people afraid to go outside? No. Are people willing to live their lives? Yeah. And
we have a strong vaccine. There's a strong flu vaccine for that.
And then that's the thing too, because what I'm hearing, at least in my neck of the woods, people are so terrified to go outside. They're terrified to go to the movies. They're terrified to go to the supermarket, but they want to get the vaccine. I'm like, you know, you're putting COVID in your body, right? Yes. So you're so terrified about getting it, but you want the vaccine. You're putting it in your body the same exact way.
But that's the same thing with the flu vaccine. It's like it fools your body into thinking that it's having the symptoms. No, I agree, but that's how vaccines work.
Right. And so, but that's what I'm saying. So it's like, so go out of your house, go live your life. It's okay. You don't want to go to a restaurant and you want to be cooped up in your house all day, but you want to get a vaccine. That doesn't make sense. Okay. And so like in my head, if that makes sense to you, you know what I mean? It's like,
I get you. You, especially when it's on the surface, when we're talking about a 99% survival rate. I get what you're saying.
Yes.
But Try telling that to someone that's in the hospital bed that can't breathe on a ventilator. Try telling them that it's I know what I'm saying.
Right. And
I have a cousin that had it, and she still can't breathe. Like, she still has scar tissue in her lungs, and she caught it last year.
My sister got it twice, which was insane. She got it, got the antibodies, got it again. Oh. My mother in her 60s got it. And then it's sick because me and my whole family were like, because apparently if you have type O blood, you're more than less likely to get it. And yes, you're more than less likely to get it. And so weird. My dad is type O, was around my mom that had COVID, didn't get it. My brother-in-law, my niece, who are type O, was around my sister that got it twice, didn't get it. Me, I literally hugged one of my closest friends. Like, so I haven't seen anybody. I have O blood type. And it was funny because I had an air purifier and it was like a little Christmas party. It was like less than 10 people. And so I was joking with her, but every time she walked past my air purifier, it was like revving up. And I'm like, Tyler, I don't know what you got or what you brought up in this house, but every time you walk past this air purifier, it keeps going off. I need you to stand right here and detoxify whatever's on your body. All jokes.
Air purifier.
I know. All jokes.
I get that shit.
All jokes. But I kid you not, 2 days later, she tested positive for COVID. No one else that was at my place that day had any symptoms. We had a kid there. So it was terrifying. And so what I'm just saying is I just don't like that I feel like the narrative in media is if you get it, you're going to die. And I don't like that. I know what I mean? And that's not what it means. You know what I mean? It's not what it means. Could you die? Heck yes. You know what I mean? Could you get very sick and never regain your health again? Yes. My sister got it twice. She has asthma. And so she has not been able to breathe properly. So, since then.
The NBA player, Karl Anthony Towns, he's an athlete, and he had it for like 2 to 3 weeks. He was debilitated. He's a healthy athlete. I get you.
Right. And so it's like, I get it. I do. And I had people who are younger than me go totally healthy their whole life, got it, died. And so it's not that I'm not empathetic towards that. But unfortunately, this is going to come off harsh and maybe a lot of people are not going to want to hear this, but through every single virus that's ever been introduced into the human society, that's what happens. You know what I mean? The Black Plague, look how long that was in human society. And look how long people were dying from the flu, right? And people will say stuff like, oh, the flu shot, I get the flu shot, it doesn't help me. That's because the flu shot is only going to protect you from 16 different variants of the flu. There's about 100 different variants of the flu.
Where were you with the Zika virus? You should have been like, pregnant people are going to get this form.
Yeah. With the heads, I was like, no.
People are going to die from Ebola. Get over it.
No, but it's true. It's going to happen. I'm sorry. And it's so sad. Even though, even with this new vaccine, everyone's rushing to get this vaccine. Listen, this vaccine is going to change 50 million times. And people are freaking out. They shut down Europe. Why? Because now it has evolved in our bodies and because it's trying to survive. That's what it is. It's a virus. It's trying to survive. And now more people are asymptomatic, giving it to people. But now I was making this joke. And again, people are not going to like this. This is going to be like HPV in 10 years. Everyone's got it.
HPV.
It's okay. It's the same thing. It's going to be just like HPV. You had it. You were sick for a little bit. You're fine. It's good. And you're good. Our kids, unfortunately, we're just the generation that's going through this. Our kids are not going to be afraid of COVID. You know what I mean? But chicken pox used to kill people. We're not afraid of chicken pox now. And so I feel like people have to understand that. And I went to Florida 2 weeks ago. And listen, technically right now their numbers are less than ours. People had their masks on. People shut down early. People had social distancing, but people were not afraid to walk outside. They were not afraid to say hello to a stranger. You know what I mean? And they still did everything. And again, just was I safe at the airport? Heck yeah. I had on my hat and I had on my mask and I had on my face shield and I didn't eat anything. And I was like, no air is going in here. So trust me, I am all serious about it. I quarantined. I took the 2 negative tests within 10 days. I follow all rules. I get it. But Cuomo was going into the part where, and then this is where people are like, oh, you sound like those people. He was getting in the way of certain individual rights. And this is what I mean. The 10-person rule. blew my mind. And the reason why it blew my mind, yes, at home. And the reason
By
why
the way,
it blew
if nobody knows, his administration tried to cover up. We didn't really get into it. Sorry, his administration tried to cover up the numbers of the nursing home deaths, and it was one of his aides ratted on him recently. And again, De Blasio was trying to censure his powers, and a lot of people, even on the Democratic side, are asking him to resign. Continue. Sorry.
Exactly. And it's just like, and again, what is he trying to do? He's trying to protect us. I don't think he has any, you know what I mean? Like, he's not trying to hurt us, but it's like, even that, like, you covering that up, what are you covering that up for? Like, and a lot of the people, and I don't think that's being talked about enough, people who are going to the hospital and getting COVID and who are dying are not dying from COVID. They're dying from not being treated and from not being giving medical attention. That's what they're dying from.
Well, because the hospitals are overflooding with COVID.
They're overflooding with, and exactly. And, you know, with Cuomo, for you to sit here and say, I'm going to reward you if you look into someone's home, I'm going to give you a reward of $10K if you look in someone's home, they have more than 10 people in the home, that I'm going to charge all of them. And I'm like, so at my family gathering, when I have my grandma, my grandpa, my sister, my mom, my 3 younger siblings. So what are you talking about? You're going to come up in here, drag us out? Like,
I never took that seriously. There was no way.
Oh no, I never took it seriously, but some people did.
When people complain about Biden when he was about to get elected, a lot of people were like, he's going to enforce a mass mandate. And I'm like, you can't do that. That's unconstitutional. You can't do that. Like, I was listening to a podcast recently of Harry Truman, and Harry Truman, one of our former presidents, he tried to get the steel factories. He tried to seize them. The government, he tried to seize them, the steel factories. So because we were in a shortage during the Korean War, we were in a shortage of weapons. And so he's the commander in chief. So he was like, I wouldn't be doing my duty if I sent, which they shouldn't have been there anyway. China joined the North Korean forces and they started kicking our ass. Of course, you know the rest. Mm-hmm. And so the Supreme Court swooped in like they did with the religious services and everything that's happening now. That's why we have our branches of government. And they overruled him 6-3, saying that it was unconstitutional. You can't just seize, which he can actually, but at that particular moment, he couldn't because we weren't like in a dire threat. As a matter of fact, Trump did the same thing with the border wall. He tried to call it a national emergency with that, and Supreme Court was like, no. So with this, I agree with you. You said that they're doing their best. I don't think Cuomo did a great job. I don't even think DeSantis is doing a good job in Florida. There are less people. They have 10 million less people there, by the way. So, like,
right.
I guess per capita.
The thing is, the good job. If we're really going to focus on this, let's look at all the countries that no longer COVID was in their, was in their midst for 2-3 months. What did they do? There's one common thread. They shut the F down.
They did.
That's
Taiwan.
It. They shut the F down. And our country
now. And they're having music festivals now.
Because it's out. And you know what? They shut down for like 3, 4, 5 months, some of them. Our country, unfortunately, because of the mass amount of people that we have, realistically, we might have to shut down for about a year or two in order for it to probably get out. But we're so goddamn greedy and we want to just keep, that's the thing too, that cracks me up. It's all about our safety until you want to keep the economy going. So you care about us until you want to keep the economy going. Why in the hell do we have to shut down at 10 o'clock? Does COVID come out at 10:30? Does an extra dose come out? And my sister, she said, because for them to clean. I'm like, so are you not cleaning all day? Then what am I going outside in the day for? None of it makes and I just feel like people aren't asking enough questions and they're just kind of following in line and they're just saying, because a lot of stuff that Cuomo did, I do understand.
That was a quote from Charlie Brown's Valentine. No,
just in case no one knew. And a lot of the stuff and things that he implemented do reflect things that happen in socialistic countries. It does. That's why people who are all, far right are very concerned, and I get it. But at the end of the day, the solution is you want to get it out. Let us figure out a way rather than praying for us to wake up and things to be normal. Yeah. Let us just do our very best to move forward and stop having businesses shut down every flare-up. Flare-ups are clearly going to happen all the time. How are we going to make sure that kids are dually in school, remote and physically, so that they can actually learn those necessary social skills that they need and have those relationships? You know what I mean? Like, we need to think about other stuff besides like just
the suicide rate is ridiculous in all states.
Right. And it's like, even me, you know, in New York State, they're texting you every single day. Hey, are you still in quarantine? Do you have any symptoms? And I'm just like, all right, I took 2 COVID tests and they still want you to stay in lockdown. And I get it. You just want to be cautious. You want to be careful. But again, there's just better ways to go about this. There needs to be a better way. Now, people are wearing 2 masks. I thought someone was going to pass
3
out.
Sometimes. There's some people using 3.
Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I know, we're a mess. I think I would have rather okay, so we're not the United States pretty much. Nothing was united, especially with this COVID situation. And I've said this before in a couple episodes. I would have rather we had a unified approach. Whether it been DeSantis, just keep it all open, keep the seniors safe, make sure they're vaccinated, keep everything clean, or the way Cuomo and Newsom in California are doing it. But I wish we just would have figured out one way. You know what I'm saying? I would have been fine with either one. And you're right. We would have been unified. And to be honest, I would have rather the quarantine. I would have rather Taiwan. I would have rather New Zealand.
Yes.
But if we would have just decided either way, all 50 states, of how to tackle this, at least if it went wrong, if it went right, we would have seen. So we will never know which one worked because all 50 states are doing something different.
Well, it was because we had a lack of leadership in house, and that's all that came down to. Who unfortunately could not, even in himself, come to grasp with what was happening. He couldn't even be unified within his own team, and so the country reflected that dissonance.
Very true. Shout out to Jared Kushner. Thank you. He's another one that hid numbers and said that Democratic cities are the only ones that are going to die. Good job, bro. Yeah, like we said before, restrictions have been relaxed. We're going to move on, but sports complexes are going to be at 10% in New York State at least. In the playoffs, you're going to see a couple people in the stands, and then indoor restaurants, which I saw people like the day of, like when they announced that, like there was people. I'm like, damn, you really love eating out. Like there are people, and I was listening to a podcast. And because of the draconian laws that Cuomo, a lot of people have been eating in Jersey, and which is funny because now they've been spiking up. So thank you, New Yorkers. You just fucked up New Jersey because you want to eat outside. So I'm sure Governor Murphy's just like, yeah, we kept it all open so New York can infect us. Thanks.
Right. Like, basically.
But yeah, no, I don't have the answer. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a government official yet. No, I'm joking. I'm not. But I don't have the answer to this. I've been stuck in my fucking Cloverfield basement for a while. I have traveled a little bit here and there. I had to cancel a trip, not because of COVID. I was ready to venture out like you. I was ready to like just be safe and like fuck it. Even though I'm not scared of viruses. I'm not usually scared, but I am scared because not for me. I'm pretty healthy. I love to live a plant-based life. I don't usually get sick. I just started taking the flu vaccine a couple of years ago. So like I said, I used to market it. So I was just like, I know everything that's in it. Why am I not taking it? But no, I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to live life again, man. And I'm more afraid to give it to my at-risk family. And shout out to you, by the way. I'm so happy your mother survived twice. That would have been devastating. And I'm very everything you're saying is correct. We just got to get through it, man. We got to see. Hopefully, we will have a better, clear understanding once we get out of this and we look at it hindsight and we go, well, that's where we fucked up. Hopefully, we can
people just be healthy, like what you just said. Like eat right. Make sure what you're putting in your body is good.
Absolutely.
Juice up on some vitamins, like whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do what you possibly can, but this is going to be in our lives forever. Like,
absolutely.
You know.
Forever, Sandlot. How sick was Trump? He was pretty sick. He was on a ventilator. We knew that. But they said that he reached oxygen levels of -80. That's pretty bad. This dude was pretty much about to die. But the New York Times doesn't like him very much, so I guess you got to take that with a grain of salt. I don't say the New York Times lied, but like they definitely hyperbole the situation every once in a while. Like I said, his oxygen level dipped to the 80s. According to the people familiar with his evaluation, whoever that is, the disease is considered severe when the blood oxygen level fails to the low 90s. So again, he dipped to the 80s. And we've talked about this before. The dude lies all the time. Whatever. He freaking, he almost died. Shame.
Right. Okay.
Dogecoin. Again, we talked about cryptocurrency. If you're here to like deep dive on that, this is not the right show. I'm not. I wish I was more into the stock market. I wish I was more into foreign exchange, all that kind of stuff. It seems like it's pretty lucrative, but it actually gained a lot of notoriety, Dogecoin, because of not Nicholas Tesla. Whoa, Elon Musk, the head of Tesla. And since then, it's actually tumbled down to 20%. But that happens. Bitcoin, all that type of shit, Litecoin, Dogecoin, it's currency. It goes up and down and shit like that. We talked about it in the pre-meeting. How do you feel about cryptocurrency, and how do you feel about Tesla backing it now?
I mean, business is business. So clearly there's some sort of investment he has. I actually really dipped into options. And I've gotten like education with Barbara Corcoran's team, and
I love Barbara Corcoran. She's great.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's a powerhouse. And the thing is sure, it's cool. And yeah, sure, it's lucrative, but like the back end, us leaning more in towards cryptocurrency, that is not good for us economically wise. Like, you know how they say $1 million 20, 30 years ago was worth like 700,000 now. And like, then it's going to keep going down.
I know nothing about it. It's like Greek.
So, you know, our dollar value is going down all the time. And it's because we keep creating. Right now, we're in $1 trillion deficit. How in God's name are we going to get out of that when people say
19 trillion?
19 trillion. What? How are we supposed to get out of that?
Add more. Add more with that bill, with that relief bill.
Exactly. And then when people say stuff like, you know, all student loans, free student loans, all student loan forgiveness, like that, all what happens is that the government buys out a bond. That's why, like, I don't really like 401ks anymore, because when you put your money to 401k, technically, right, if you start a 401k with about $8,000 or $10,000 and over 30 years, it was accumulating about an 8% interest and you didn't really do much to it, you should have 140 grand at the end of 30 years. What you really walk away with is 30 grand. And you're like, What happened? And then they're like, all these fees, all this. Nah, that's not what happened. You put your money into that 401k. The government took out a bond, put an IOU against it, and fed it into the economy. And so when we do stuff like... And, you know, with the cryptocurrency, our entire economy and, you know, our business guys, they're trying to lean more towards that because it's not hardcore cash anymore. But that is how, and then this is like where the, like the conspiracy theories come out. Like, this is how they're going to take over. This is how the government like takes over you. And like, this is how they honestly start to get more of a, more power over your money. If I do, like, I get it, but it's like him backing it up. This is all a business thing happening. And I know that people are trying to lean more into cryptocurrency. And that's just because our dollar is not worth jack crap. And if we switch into cryptocurrency, we can get ourselves out of our debt or deficit, because cryptocurrency, you make it up. It doesn't matter. You make it up.
We make it up now. We're in so much debt, like you said, the bond, like even like our money is a promissory note. It's so worthless. But thankfully, a lot of people are in debt with us. So whenever our dollar dips now, everybody else's dips. So
right, but that's why the whole world is now starting to go into this. But I mean, hey, I don't know, whatever.
Hopefully we reset it one day. But hey, we've been in debt since the Clinton era, actually. Clinton left with a $500 million surplus. And ever since Bush, we've been in a deficit. So to be honest, like you said, it's like play money. It's like Jeffrey dollars. Like, I don't want to be in debt. I would rather our country be fiscally solvent and blah, blah, blah. But saying that, like, I'm on Trump's side. when he was ballooning the debt and they asked him about it, he was like, I'm not gonna care about it when I leave office. So why do you care? I'm like, okay, that's honest. So I mean, if he don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck. Obama added to the debt too, but he was in a recession though. He inherited a recession. Trump put us in a recession, so it was a little different. So yeah, Dogecoin, Litecoin, who knows? We'll see what happens. On to better news, to be honest. How we'll leave the What the Fuck Happened section is our last one. Bumble goes public. Bumble goes public. If you do not know, now you know. The former co-creator of Tinder branched off after an abusive relationship with her co-creator, and she developed Bumble. And she is now the fastest woman billionaire to reach the market. That's why I said to reach the market, because a lot of people will be like, but what about Kylie Jenner? Okay, enough. Anyway, shares of Bumble, which operates on the dating app under the same name, began trading on Thursday. The company's stock started trading up to 77% and now is at $76 per share. And Bumble competes against Match Group, which owns the rival apps Hinge, Tinder, and OkCupid. Those are the ones that are under the umbrella of Match Group. They're public also. And now she's battling the big boys like she always has. Bumble is a great dating app. I have it myself. I don't meet anybody on it anymore. It's like a collection of people. It's like, ooh, that person might have gone out with me. So whatever. How do you feel about this? Are you excited that we have another female billionaire out there doing her thing?
I think that's awesome. I mean, yeah, that's awesome. Congrats to her. And I mean, yeah, that's a great bitter relationship. Great result to come out. That's fantastic.
Right? He doesn't even have to when you're in a breakup, you have to go deep dive stalking to see if they're failing or doing well in life.
Right. She's winning.
All you have to do is look up. Oh, there goes my ex. He gets to Wall Street. Oh,
yeah. That's what you get. That's good for him. Exactly what you get. Right? That's her glow up. So yes, sis. Win.
Hell yeah. So that is Whitney Wolfe Herd, the CEO. She founded Bumble in 2014. Let's get into some music. What did I hear? That was a loud ass clap. Sorry for your ears, Mariah.
You're good.
Audience, they're used to it. They have no eardrums at this point. Morgan Wallen. He's probably going to end up getting an award at the CMTs for this. No more bystanders. Why it's time for country music fans to step up. It's true. Morgan Wallen has a song that says the N-word, and the country music fans, you would think that they would defend it because we're in America, and you would think that we all don't want racist things to happen to each other. No. Country music is pretty much in the NASCAR section still. And they're actually coming to defense of Morgan Wallen. They're like, well, Jay-Z says it in music all the time. How come blacks are allowed to say it? I mean, that's a pretty deep conversation we would have to have about this. But my question for you, to keep it light, how disappointed are you in country music?
Very. Just come on. We all know better. Just at the end of the day, we all know better. And those people, that's such a tired conversation about why does Jay-Z. Let's not. Just know that you can't do it. You can't do it. Don't do it. Just stop. Just stop. Just stop. And yes, it's I don't even know. I didn't hear the song, but that shouldn't be in your vocabulary. And a short answer to that, but how come they can do it and we can't? It's in our vocabulary because it's a word that was not cool. And after a certain amount of time, we flipped it so that we could live with it. So when you say it, and I say white people, if you say that word, its meaning changes.
I agree.
When we say it, we change the meaning you originally had for it. So it just doesn't sit well. You just don't do it. Just don't do it. And I had this, one of my exes, I remember we were going back and forth about this one time, me and his stepfather, not him. me and him couldn't date if that were the case.
Great conversations.
Oh, his stepdad. I know they were from Staten Island. Nothing against Staten Island people, but
oh my God, the people you meet on that show. Whoa.
No, I'm not dating anyone I've met on my show. No.
Oh, good. I just meant like, I didn't mean like on the show. I just meant like just being a part of that vibe.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And he, he and I were going back and forth about, because he had said the word fag to my boyfriend. And I was like, don't say that. Like, can you not say that word? And he's like, oh, people are so sensitive these days. Like, when I was a fireman back in the 70s, if I called my Negro friend, there was not a problem. And I was like,
my Negro friend?
I can't. And I was like, so.
My Negro friend.
And I was like, so you think it's okay for you to say that now? And he was like, no, I'm not saying that. And then we started going, I was like, why don't you just call people what they want to be called? Why don't you just respect boundaries? Like, plain and simple.
That's true.
We told y'all to stop doing it. It upsets people. So to me, regardless if you understand it or not, you don't respect me and you clearly want this smoke. You want it because that's why you're doing it, because it's.
All right, Matt Barnes, we're not stealing your title. We're not stealing it. Well, speaking of homosexual slur, TJ Osborne. So on the flip side, they think they could say the N-word, whatever they want, but they do not like the gay community either. And they just had, not just Lil Nas X, but they just had a TJ Osborne. He came out and he's heavy on the scene. So they got what they got it coming. They were just like, once they said the N-word, whatever God people believe in was like, well, now you get a gay person in there. Here you go. Take that, TJ Osborne. No, man, it's pretty sad. Hopefully country music does something about that. Let's get on to some lighter shit. Well, not even lighter. R.I.P. to Fenty. I love Rihanna. I actually would prefer her to come out with R9 soon, their highly anticipated album. I was cool with her Fenty line. It was actually pretty cutting edge. A lot of people loved it and stuff like that. It was in collaboration with I think it was with Louis Vuitton or the House of Louis Vuitton. The assembly line just couldn't make it over COVID, man. There was just a shortage of workers, a shortage of technology, a shortage of all supply and demand. How do you feel?
But it's just her fashion line, right? Her makeup line is still fine.
Yes, but her, yes, I think, I don't know what the umbrella.
Right, I think it's just her lingerie line.
But it's the lingerie that's going under.
Right. I mean, listen, Rihanna's a businesswoman. We've all been asking her to make music for like 20 years now. And she's like, you guys will take this makeup and you will take this fashion and you will be patient. And we're like, okay, Rihanna. Okay, we got it.
That's right. You take that lingerie, get a nice big wedgie, you go, get out of my face.
She's just like, listen, I am, it's unfortunate, but at least she still has the makeup line. That is really what is going to take her off anyway. That's what's been helping her brand anyway. And this is just one sector of one of her lines. She's going to figure something else out. She will be back and badder and bigger. And so I'm not concerned. I just hope she just keeps winning and keeps going in this direction and doesn't stop because, again, I know we all want her music, but this is what she wants right now. And I support her. I love me some Riri. I'm a big Riri fan. So. Oh,
me too. Big fan. No, businesses fail. That happens sometimes. And a great business person just picks himself back up. We just had a president that failed 500 businesses before he got elected. So it's all right. Not everything. And Yeezy was freaking $90 million in the hole before he became a billionaire with the Yeezy line, before it actually became really profitable. So yeah, no, that's business. It's American business for you. It fails, it rises, it stabilizes, it goes in the red, it goes in the black. That's just part of life. So go Rihanna. To me, that's a success, even if it fails, because not a lot of people get to start a business at all.
Anyway,
at all.
Right, exactly.
So good for her. It was a strong line. It's actually suspended, so there might be a chance it could come back one day.
It's totally going to come back.
I agree. It was very popular. It still is. For Rihanna touches everything, it's gold. Justin Timberlake, he apologized to Britney Spears and Janet Jackson to surmise. It was a pretty lengthy apology. Years too late, but you got to start somewhere, I guess. It was about the free the nipple at the Super Bowl, and when Britney was going through her conservatorship, she still is. And when she was going through the bald thing in 2006, all that kind of stuff, he just pretty much abandoned her. And just, even if they were not together, he considered her a friend. And a lot of people felt that he just abandoned both of those women a lot, and he failed, and he acknowledged that in there. Do you accept this apology? Do you care about this apology?
I definitely don't care about his apology. Because what's so, Justin Timberlake's career still went on. Britney Spears' career did not. Janet Jackson, when that whole little nipple thing happened, I remember.
It took a pause. Toxic was amazing. Circus, what are you talking about? She came back.
Well, she came back, but the thing is, I guess really the Janet Jackson one is what affected me the most, because here's this woman who was performing and she didn't even do this to herself. Yeah. And I remember seeing interviews with him saying that he was so embarrassed about the situation, kind of let people kick Janet in the dirt, and it never made any sense to me. And then she paused for a long time, and then he just went on with I don't know, as if something happened to him, and I didn't like that. And so to me, it is like, who are you doing this apology for? Are you coming out on Twitter because you want people to? I just don't get it.
Nobody was watching his movie Palmer. That's probably what.
Right. You see what I mean? He just came out.
It was good though. It was good.
All right. Well, I saw the SNL that band on SNL last night, and that's when I heard about it. I'm like, interesting. But
they were making fun of it.
No.
I was like, damn, making fun of a trans kid. Okay.
No. They performed. The band performed, but that's what I immediately thought of. It was, are you doing this because you want people to go see if you have another movie? Do you want to go watch another movie? I just feel like when these kind of apologies come out so much later and it wasn't addressed, I'm not understanding why you're doing it. When Kevin Hart, when his stuff came out, he apologized. We get it. When Blake Lively, when people's stuff come out, that's fine. But you're kind of rehashing something that no one cares about anymore to make yourself seem the same way you did back then. You're so sorry. You're this really good guy. I love me some Justin Timberlake too. He's
white
fine.
White fragility.
Right. It's and I love him. But it's just
tears. Save those thug tears.
That's how I feel. Save them. It's all right. Thanks for saying sorry 10 years later.
Right. Speaking of Kevin Hart, I didn't put this on the outline, but his stylist stole $1 million of goods from him. Supposedly in the court filing, they said he started off with small stuff and then he just started going for the bang. He started going for bags and shoes, and that's when Kevin Hart found out, pressed charges, and can't even trust your stylist anymore, man. I have to fire mine, by the way. I'm going to watch the Free Britney soon. You said you didn't watch it either, right? Great. I'm going to watch that one day. I heard it's very, very good. It goes into how of a tyrant Jamie Spears is, not the sister Jamie Lynn, but the father. He's just been taking a stranglehold on her career for a long time. Luckily, she's super talented and she has, survived a lot of things, but she has no control over her money. So free Britney, free Britney. There's some new songs out on Judah and the Messiah, and the Black Messiah. Sorry, we're going to talk about that in the movie section. Nas and Hitboy have an amazing song on there. A$AP Rocky has a song on there. It's a great soundtrack. We discussed that song last week. Her debut single on there, not debut single, but it was the debut single from the soundtrack. And I think she performed at the Super Bowl. She's legendary. I love her. Gabby Wilson's her real name. I love her. Are you a fan of her?
Fun fact about her.
Ooh, fun fact.
When she was 8 years old, the first place she ever performed was at the Maury Show, in the Talent Kids Show.
And my fault, by the way.
Funny is that?
We usually reveal that later, but that's okay. We were talking for a while. Yes, this is a producer for the Maury Show. This is a producer. Yes. I should have said it as a shout out. I thought we were going to breeze through it, but we're not. It's okay. I'm having a great time. You're You're amazing, by the way. Nobody ever talks about every topic. I love it. But yes, she is from the Maury Show. She has been there for a while. She rose up very fast, and she is killing it over there. So again, we will get into that. But yes, thank you for coming here. We try to get who we can as exciting guests, and you definitely fit the bill. You're more than exciting. So. Some more music, Echoing. If you like Kings of Leon, they have a new single called Echoing. If you like Young Ma, she has a new single called Off the Yak. I'm a big Young Ma fan. Heat Above is a new single by Greta Van Fleet, the band that sounds like Led Zeppelin. And then if you like reggaeton and you like hotties, Location by Karol G and J Balvin. Any of those artists tickle your fancy? Is there any new music we should be listening to?
I like me some J Balvin. He's cool.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It's like I haven't been out. So I don't know any new music anymore. Like, I don't listen to the radio. So I don't go to the club or no lounges. So I don't know who's
What, Governor DeSantis wasn't DJing in Miami? What happened?
I was not in Miami. What? I went to the safe part of Florida. The safe part where all like older people are. Like Port St. Lucie, Tampa, West
Mets.
Palm.
Yes, that's where the Mets play their spring training.
Jupiter, that's exactly
near Jupiter, Florida. Yep. My grandfather, he used to live in Apopka, Florida, near Orlando.
Okay.
Yeah, very familiar. I used to go to Disney, all that good stuff. I've been there way too many times, honestly. But
that's nice.
Sorry for other people that have never been there at all. My bad.
I've never been to Disney, and it's like the weirdest thing because my parents, I just traveled so much all over the Caribbean. Like I've been on cruises.
That's way better. That's way better than Disney.
But I've never been to Disney, and I'm like, Daddy, why didn't you ever take me to Disney? And because
I'm a better father than that. I took you to Caribbean countries.
The key place, and now they make jokes. He's like, "You want to go now?" And I'm like, "No, I'm grown now. It doesn't matter." No, anymore.
It's still fun. It's still fun. It's not my first choice, but if you're down in Orlando area, it's pretty much one of the more fun things to do.
NBC, we get free Universal studio tickets, so I'd rather go there.
Oh, so you've been there? Oh, that's the better part.
No, I haven't been there just yet. I still haven't used my tickets. I've been working there for 6 years, but I still haven't used them.
I know.
Well,
you have to go take advantage of that.
I'm going to
take advantage of that. Yes, of course. And Islands of Adventure, that's the first one you should go to. Islands of Adventure is the best one. That's a Spider-Man ride, the Hulk. All that good stuff, man. It has
the thing I need the good rides.
Shit. Yeah. Oh, it's my favorite park ever. My second favorite is Great Adventure, and up in Jersey. In Jersey,
yes, the Jersey one is so good. I love that one. So dope. I used to love it when the safari was different. Like you could drive your car through the safari.
Was sick. Yeah, I think they closed that, but yes, that was sick.
Now it's like a ride. Now you have to be in it's like a gated little truck thing, and then you could drive through. So
have you done Hurricane Harbor? I've never done that.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, how is that? That's fun too.
Yes, I did. I used to do Dorney Park every year too. When I was a little kid, the water park. Hurricane Harbor is great. I've been to Hershey Park.
I love Hershey. I don't love Dorney Park, but I used to take camp kids there. I used to take camp kids there.
I went to the water park. I went to the water park.
So that's why I have bad memories there.
I know your face. You were like, no, I love Dorney Park. I used to go there all the time.
Is that the Golden Slide again? Is that the Golden Slide? Don't want to revisit that. But yeah, Dorney Park was pretty cool. So that's it on the music. Let's get into the movies and television.
What the fuck did I watch?
Redemption Song. Mr. Dave Chappelle, one of my favorite comedians. And I don't know who's doesn't have him as one of their favorite comedians. They're kind of weird.
He's great.
Congratulations to him. He, whenever he makes an announcement, he does a little snippet stand-up. I love that. I don't know anybody who does that but him. So he puts them out there and he gives a little disclaimer of what's going on with his life. And he's caught COVID. We know that. That was in the Redemption. Did you see it, by the way? Did you see the little Redemption song?
I didn't. I didn't.
It's on IG. It's okay. It's on his IG. It's on Netflix IG, and it's on his IG. And he explains how he got COVID. His other special, he was saying that he was avoiding it. This time, he said what you said. He was saying, I wanted to live. I wanted to take some risks, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, and I failed. He's like, but he was like, I failed. But he didn't really take it. He didn't really say it that way. He was like, but I lived. I did something. So you should you're proud that you didn't do anything with your life, and I'm proud of the fact that I caught COVID, but at least I did something about it. So whatever way you want to look at it. But the big crux of it was that he got the rights back to his show many moons ago when he left Africa, and he was upset at the direction of the show, of all the racist tropes. If you backtrack, he said that, like, you know, when he knew that the show was taking a turn, and I'm a big fan of the show, actually, it's probably my favorite comedy show still to this day. He said he looked around and he was making these racist jokes, and he was just like, and the whole set was white, and he just lost his direction, and he just lost his focus, and he went and he recalibrated his life. And luckily, even in the Redemption song, he thanks the fans for reviving his career. And it's a really funny joke, actually. He goes, thanks to you guys, a lot of I avoided what a lot of my colleagues had to do when they did what I did. And I can firmly say I don't know what dick tastes like. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God. He's so stupid.
I know, man. I'm like, but yeah, good for him, man. Again, if you need more of a background story, Viacom, Comedy Central, again, he breached his contract. They did not give him the rights to the show. They did not give him the $90 million payback. They took back a lot of that, the bonus, everything. Then, while his resurgence with Netflix, his comedy, all that good stuff, he's back in the prime time. HBO Max, Netflix, and I believe another streaming service tried to stream him, but he wasn't getting any money from it. So he asked Netflix, who he's contractually under, to take it off. HBO took it off as well. But now they're back. I don't know if HBO's back, but now they're back because he negotiated. Netflix served as an intermediary to negotiate to have him get the rights back for his show. So he owns Chappelle's show once again, and now he's getting paid for it to be on Netflix. How do you feel about that?
I mean, good for him. I'm all about everyone getting their proper pay, you know, like he's the talent, and 90 million after what they're going to make from him, that's still nothing. You know what I mean? Like, give him his money. And just even going back to the whole Monique thing, like, good. I'm happy because I think I read that article, and he said, listen, when I first got into that contract, I was a desperate soon to be father. Like, I was young, you know, and so I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him. I went to his show in Radio City a few years ago, and it was amazing.
Me too. I have the shirt.
It was so, oh, nice.
So good. I should have worn it. I didn't know you did. That was great.
It was so great. I love that show too, because you just saw how awkward people are now, because they, you know, when you go in, they give you that little pouch to put your phone in. And so like you can't look at your phone, you can't do anything. People would sit and then start looking, and they're like, vigilant, look around. I'm like, people are so awkward. Like, people can't even, they're like, they can't even have conversations. And the person I was with, you know, when I got his drinks or something, and I would talk to people around me, I'm like, hey, what's up? You know, is it your opener for you?
Who was the opener for you?
Oh, I don't remember. To be honest, actually.
I know he had the Roots.
He had a few people.
I didn't have Nas either. Oh, you had the Roots.
It was Roots. Yes.
I go to. I'm trying to think who opened for him. I forgot. But yes, they took away the phones. I had that white guy saying that we'll kick you out. Oh, like he did it in Dave Chappelle's voice. Did you notice, like, now I noticed that he doesn't work out anymore, but did you notice how swole he was when he was on tour at that time?
No.
Oh, you noticed? Like, oh, yeah. Now that I see him.
Now when I saw him.
Oh, okay. When I saw him, he was fucking ripped. He looked like he was on steroids. But now I see him in comedy specials. Like, I could tell that he doesn't work out anymore. I'm like, he must have did that for the.
I was amazed, and I think it was still like, huh. He was smoking on stage, and I was
he was smoking hardcore on this one.
And David, put it down. Put it down. It is just 2021. You know that ain't good for you. And he was just smoking like a pipe, like does not stop. I was amazed by that. I don't know why. One
of the specials on Netflix, he was using an e-cigarette in the first two, and then you're right. Then the later specials, he said, "Fuck it." And he said
it. I think in my special, she was like, "I was trying to do that, but fuck it."
Right?
Just doing the cigarettes.
When I was in college, I don't know if you ever saw this movie with Paul Giamatti. It's called American Splendor. And there was we had a guest speaker, the writer of the book where they adapted it. I think he passed away recently. Oh, no, he didn't. No, he's alive. My bad. Whoa, he's alive. but he shouldn't be because when he was doing the speech, when he was doing the about American Splendor, it was out in the. As a matter of fact, I think he got nominated for an Academy Award that year. So it was really cool that he came in to speak to our class. I was taking comic book sociology at the time. And he came to talk to the class, but the rule was if he were to come, he was allowed to chain smoke. And so everybody knows what chain smoking is. But he redefined it for me. I had never seen this before. He was smoking while talking. And then before the cigarette would go out, he would take another one and he would light it he would butt fuck the cigarette. But usually I see another person do it. Usually I go, light this cigarette for me with the other cigarette. No, he took his own cigarette, was like, and it never went out. He just was like, and he just kept going. And luckily it was a great speech. So I after a while, I just was like, oh, I guess we're just going to get smoked out. But, but in the beginning, I was just like, but then I was just like, you know what? COVID's coming in 20 years. So I got to man up. No. But shout out to Dave Chappelle. Shout out to Ted Sarandos, the co-chief of Netflix. And shout out to Chris McCarthy, the new president of Viacom CBS. They're the ones that made all that happen. I haven't watched Chappelle in a long time, his show. I don't need to. I watched it like 5 million times, but I'm happy. I'm happy that it's there because I had Netflix, and it's always good to have in the archive. Mm-hmm. Right? To me, it's better than having The Office. Like, everybody always like plays The Office in the background. I'd rather have a Chappelle show. I'd rather like play that in the background. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck?
Totally agree.
Okay, so Joss Whedon, bad boy, naughty boy. We always have naughty boys on this show. Joss Whedon, the co-creator of Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Sarah Michelle Gellar. He also did the scrap version of Justice League, which is now being redone by Zack Snyder. And the person who plays Cyborg, I believe his name is... I forgot his name. I need to find that. But anyway, Charisma Carpenter, she played one of the characters on Buffy. Michelle Trachtenberg, same thing. Everybody's coming out the woodwork for Joss Whedon ever since Cyborg came out and ratted him out to Warner Media. Warner Media supposedly did an investigation. Miss Carpenter, Camilla Carpenter from Buffy, said they contacted her, but it wasn't a good investigation at all. Are you surprised with Warner Brothers? Are you surprised with Joss Whedon? Do you think that this canceling of him is legit?
I mean, here's the thing. This is going to keep happening, right? Unfortunately. And the company, Warner Bros., they have to take their stance, right? And so, sure, if he gets canceled, yeah, he's just like a lot of, unfortunately, the older generation who likes to abuse women specifically. And I think Warner Bros., for their sake, for their legacy, for their name, they need to take the stand, which is what a lot of other companies have been doing. And I'm really happy that we're at a place in our lives and in time where there is no gray area in this matter anymore, period. So, yeah, cancel the hell out of them.
Good. And Warner Brothers actually needs to do a better job because, like I said, Ray Cyborg, that's not his name. I know his name is Ray. But he, like I said, he confirmed that like it was a terrible investigation. So Warner Brothers, and
that's because Warner Brothers, it's because they know that, if we do a very thorough investigation, they're probably partially responsible for whatever it is, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they could be found responsible for maybe some of the issues. Again, it is what it is. Things have happened. I know that NBC, they're so strict on the no tolerance of anything.
Isn't Ellen owned by Warner Brothers also?
I think so.
Right? They probably got the same shitty investigation. The same fucking probe. Like, yeah, let's just give him Ellen's probe. That'll work.
I think
nobody will get in trouble. But anyway, Joss Whedon, I love, I don't love Justice League, but I do love Buffy. Buffy was an amazing show. There's been talks about rebooting that. I wouldn't mind that if they made it like a little more like adult. Only that way. If they just like go back to the teeny bopper shit, I'll keep the memory of Sarah Michelle in my head. And like I said, a lot of people are coming to the victim's defense, especially from the Buffy show. Those are where most of the people that are coming to. So good for that. Let's get on to someone we root for. Let's root for everything black, like Issa Rae. Issa Rae had so much success. She's an Emmy-nominated person. As a matter of fact, that she won. No, she won an Emmy, actually. And now she's nominated again on her final season of Insecure. She's also done a web series, Awkward Black Girl. She also produces another web series, which is called, I've never seen it actually, A Black Lady Sketch Show. So the same people that developed that, including her, they are developing a new show on HBO Max, which is with City Girls, and it is called Rap Shit. Now, if you've ever seen Issa Rae's show, she raps a lot in the mirror. And so this kind of makes sense that she would do, and those are some of the funniest scenes, by the way. Like, broken pussy. Like, I love her. I love Issa Rae. She's the best. And I will definitely, like I said, same thing with Phoebe Waller-Bridges, even though some of her shows are kind of whack. And same thing with Shonda Rhimes, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a fan of these developers. But with Issa Rae, I love all her content. So it doesn't matter. Yes, I'm a fan of those two. I mentioned before, so I'll check them out and shit. No, but I know for a fact, everything that Issa comes out with, I'm going to enjoy.
I love me some Issa. And I love me some City Girls, too. Like, this is going to be a bomb collab. Like, right. Oh, that would be one ratchet. That'd be real fun.
Working on stage, man. I need to see that.
That would be fun. But I'm down for her. Please. Issa is a queen. She's a role model, and she just inspires and helps and just kills it. Like you said, project after project. So I'm super excited for that, too.
Me too. And then another great project manager in the content space is, we've mentioned her before, but she did Phoebe Waller-Bridges. She's writing the script to the new Bond movie. She did Villa Real. She did Killing Eve. She did Fleabag, which she won an Emmy. So now she is teaming up with Donald Glover, Mr. Childish Gambino, and they are going to take the place of Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. I believe it's a show. It's going to be on Amazon. No, it's going to be a movie. So they're doing a reboot of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. How do you feel about that?
I love those two together anyway. So
it's a series. I'm sorry, it is a series.
It is a series. That's I thought it was a series. I'm excited to see what that's going to look like. Because Mr. and Mrs. Smith, even like the movie was cool. And to see it, I'm interested to see what that's going to come out like. And I love Donald Glover. So.
Too. I love both of their content. And I love everything Donald does. Donald's the man. Once in a lifetime type of talent. I believe the same thing. I know we talked about this in the pre-meeting. I think Shia LaBeouf is a very talented actor. You say that he lost it since Holes, which was a very, very long time. It was like, you might as well say he was better at Even Stevens.
He started going off the radar, around Disturbia, and then the last normal thing he was in was Transformers. I think he's super talented. He's so freaking cute too. Like, he's great. Like, he's a little nuts. Like, he is. And hey, at first, especially when he's that art, he was that live art, and he had you like yell mean tweets at him all day or something weird like that. Like, it's and this whole thing now with FKA Twigs. Like, first of all, this isn't the first woman to accuse him of doing this. Number one. And I am not at all surprised that he's trying to fight her and trying to sue her. And I just feel like for a really long time, people were not on the women's side, and people were always on even Promising Young Woman. I don't know if you've seen that movie.
I just saw it yesterday. It was so good. It's so shocking. I don't want to root for anybody, but the ending is fucking amazing. Amazing.
I was like, come on, sis. Get him. That's how I felt. And
really good. And I hope she wins, by the way. That's right now. I haven't seen all the nominees. Well, they haven't done the nominees yet. But right now, I view her as the favorite. Carrie Mulligan, she definitely should get it.
She was awesome. And, I believe FKA Twigs. I don't think that she would make that up. I don't think that there's anything for her to gain from accusing Shia LaBeouf out of all people. Like, he, you know what I mean? Like, and so I hope she gets justice. I am on her side. Boom. And that's that.
Me too. I would like to see it play out. I would like to see, but I'm not rooting for Shia. I love Shia. I'm a big fan as an actor, but as a person, he's a shit human being right now, and he needs to get a lot of help. CAA dropped him, and before we move on, he is countersuing. It's a lawsuit that FKA Twigs. She lost the statuette. I don't even think it's a stat. There is a statuette on rape, by the way, which is disgusting. But I think she passed that. So now she is suing him, and he's countersuing him, and he is asking her to pay his legal fees if he wins. So if he did do all this, this is extra douchebag. And shout out to Pieces of a Woman, Vanessa Kirby. She's also from The Crown. She is an award consideration for that movie, and he was too. We talked about it in the pre-meeting, but Netflix decided to pull it, so he will not be nominated for an Academy Award this year because he was just too naughty. Good. Josh Whedon, Marilyn Manson, Shia LaBeouf. It's 2021, guys. Get the fuck with it. Mm-hmm. Right? People still misbehaving in that way. All good. I appreciate the soundtrack. So, this is the movie and television part, and we had a lot of news this week. So we only included one. We only included two films. One is on the outline. One I did not put on there by accident. I only finished it this morning. It's the third of the trilogy of All the Boys That I Love. It's on Netflix. It's a rom-com. Laura Kander is on it. The guy from Sex and the City, Corbin, I think. I forgot his first name. Kevin Corbin. He's in it. He's the father. The first one is about this girl. She writes these love letters. She puts them in a box, and her little sister sends them out to all of her love interests. And she did not want to send them to anyone. And as a matter of fact, one of them was her sister's fiance, who was a childhood friend. Yeah. So then there's two sequels. The third one, it starts off in Korea. She's actually Vietnamese in real life, but the family's Korean. So they start off there. It's actually a pretty good movie. But the movie of the week, the one that premiered this week, the one that is actually getting a lot of Oscar buzz, rightfully so, is Judas and the Black Messiah on HBO Max, starring Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out and Skins and so many. Queen and Slim, he's an amazing actor. Lakeith Stanfield, Sorry to Bother You, that's a great movie. He's been in so much. I love Lakeith Stanfield. He's a great actor. He's been nominated, Daniel Kaluuya, but I feel like Lakeith Stanfield, especially with this role, he's gonna get an award one day. The guy from Breaking Bad, he's also the husband of Kristen Dunst. He is Jesse Plemons. He is the FBI agent that recruits Lakeith Stanfield's character, who is Billy O'Neill in real life, the guy that committed suicide the night of when they did that interview with him, when they said that he was the Sting. He was the one that was infiltrating on Fred Hampton, the deputy chairman of the Black Panthers. Died at 21 years old. So they tell the whole story with this, and they show the sting operation, all that good stuff. It's an amazing fucking movie. It was so quality. One more actor I want to mention, Deborah Johnson. She plays Fred Hampton's wife in the movie. She's from The Deuce. I'm a big fan of her too. I'm so happy she's in a film like this. Is this on your radar?
Heck yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I love those two guys that you mentioned. Yeah, Daniel Kaluuya and Pete. I love both of them. I'm always excited about any kind of film that puts Black culture, history, anything in a positive light, in a way that not only can minority artists and creators be a part of it, but also reap that benefit, be in the same conversation. So I'm 1,000% going to pay $20 to Amazon Prime to watch that movie, because that's
on HBO Max. It's on HBO Max.
Oh, great! Oh, so they were all good.
All good. We all good. And like I said, I think when we said in the actually, I'm on IMDb right now. I'm giving it a 10 because I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. Right now, the average score is 7.9. I'm going to call that an 8. Right. It's pretty solid, actually. It's really good.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I was about to say Oscar contenders usually have that kind of rating anyway. So they gave an extension due to COVID. So right now the Golden Globe nominees are out, so it can't get a Golden Globe. I don't think they did an extension, but the Academy Awards did. So I think this still has a shot to get nominated for this year, and I hope it does because it's more than worthy, way more than worthy. Speaking of cancel culture, now we're on the women's side. And Gina Carano, do you watch The Mandalorian on Disney Plus? It's okay. It's a great show. Little Yoda. Actually, I forgot the actual name of the character. It's not Yoda. But to give a little synopsis, The Mandalorian is a Star Wars show. It features a Mandalorian character, the same planet as Boba Fett, if you're a nerd about Star Wars. So Gina Carano plays one of the mercenaries. She did play one of the mercenaries. During the filming of the show, it's been on for 2 seasons. They were actually going to make a spinoff with her. But Disney kept telling her to stop with the, I guess, very controversial post. Not, like we said before, there's nothing wrong with being conservative. There's nothing wrong with being liberal. There's nothing wrong with being GOP. There's nothing wrong with being Republican, Democrat, whatever you want to be. As long as you're a good person. And Gina Carano decided that she wanted to associate being a GOP member as being persecuted by the Nazis. And so they, right? I know. And so she put that there, and then she goes, meanwhile, and then she put like people like en masse, and she goes, meanwhile, happening in California. So she was just trying to like poke fun and like trying to make her a victim and trying to make it seem like the liberal media is Nazis. And then I guess like she was trying to villainize Newsom, whatever. She does that all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with speaking your mind, all that good stuff. But Disney is a private company, and they get to decide who represents them. Same thing with you, like wherever you work for Maury and stuff like that. Maury and the head honchos. You obviously you're your own person, and you think the way that you want, but you don't represent Maury all the time, and like you know what I'm saying. So, but on that other hand, Disney the same thing. They get to choose who represents them. They get to choose who is associated with their brand, and they decided Carano was not it. Do you feel that it was just? And do you feel, one more question, do you feel that with Pedro Pascal, we mentioned that in the pre-meeting, he compared the cages that were happening in the migration during Trump and Obama era, he compared that to Nazi concentration camps, and a lot of people are saying, and he's a co-star on The Mandalorian, he's also on that show too, they're saying that he should be canceled as well for saying that. So I guess it's like kind of like the Ilhan Omar situation and Marjorie Taylor Greene. We're back at it.
I mean, listen,
cancellation is justified?
No, people can't be canceled for having their own opinions, no matter how you feel about it. It's an opinion.
Gotcha.
And Disney gets to choose who they want to represent them. And I'm not against that. You know what I mean? Like if they don't want people with red hair representing them, they don't have to.
They have no souls anyway. They have no souls anyway. They just have no souls, so I get what they're doing.
So it's fine. Like I don't think she should be canceled. Do I think it's just a little extreme what she's saying? Absolutely, but that's her opinion. And luckily, she's in a place of influence. But if that's how she feels, that's how she feels. Oh, well, I don't think she should be necessarily canceled. She's not a place of power. She cannot affect my life like the way, Green's going on and saying that you vote for Biden and in a few years we're all going to be in this 6-sex pedophile circle. Like you're messing with people's head. Don't do that. Like, you're in a place of power that's different. She wants to have an opinion. She wants to have an opinion. She wants to have an opinion. That's her. That's up to her. Like, I don't think it's fair to cancel either of them. And I think Disney can do whatever they want. So if they're saying, hey, that's her contract with them. So yeah, I work for NBC Universal, and I know that if I do certain things in public, that won't be cool. I know that I could be risking my job. So I don't think that should be ignored, and she gets to decide whatever she wants to do. If she wants to say to hell with you guys, okay, great. So you get fired. And I don't think that Disney that's bad for them. It's business. It's all business. It doesn't matter. Just like LeBron, he does something wild right now, Nike may just drop him. Like,
good luck with that.
but he's never gonna do nothing wild. So that's the thing. It's the same kind of.
That's true. That's what they paid for. You're right. He is.
That's
not
what they
that
paid for. They paid for his
not
image. They paid for exactly. Steph Curry, the same thing. Under Armour. That's what they paid for. The minute, and those men, they know that they have $1 billion contract, so they ain't finna do nothing stupid. So if sis wants to be out here ragging on her mouth, go ahead, but be broke when you do it too. And if you're okay with that, then I don't understand what anyone else's problem should be. Yeah. It's America. It's fine.
Yeah, no, they have the right to do that. Is it hypocritical of Disney? Of course. They're the same people that put racist crows in Dumbo, all that type of shit.
Right, exactly. Disney, listen, that man was racist. And it's great. Listen, are they rectifying it because they have now, movies that are putting more diversity? But there was like this, me and, in film school, and Tish, we had gotten our hands on this movie that Disney.
So jealous. I forgot that you went to Tish. Goodness gracious!
Yes. We found this. This me and one of my friends, this Disney film about slaves, like singing slaves, and they're like. You must have heard about it. It came out in the 40s or the 50s. It was crazy. And,
I remember what that was. Fuck.
But talk about being hypocritical. It's like, are they hypocritical company? I don't know. But they definitely evolved, right? And they're trying
Mulan,
to.
Though? Did you hear about Mulan? That was actually pretty recent. When Mulan came out, the newest, the live action, the Uyghurs, the Muslims in China, they're being sent to concentration camps. They're being situated into society. They're trying to strip them of their religion in China. And so that's going on. So that's why that was very controversial with LeBron James. While they were over there, one of the GMs in the NBA on the Rockets, he's on the Philadelphia Sixers now, Daryl Morey, he commented on that. And the NBA lost billions of dollars because China don't play like that. China's doesn't matter what we're doing. Mind your fucking business, which they kind of are correct because we do some bullshit over here, George Floyd, blah, blah, blah. So we have no right to talk. But back to Disney. So the Uyghurs is happening over there. The same province of where it's happening, they filmed Mulan and they thanked them. So pretty much they're endorsing slavery. They're endorsing slavery right now to this day. At this moment, the Uyghurs are enslaved. They're Muslims in China. China does not like Muslims, so they're trying to, like I said, they're trying to recondition them, repurpose them. And Disney totally was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Let's film over there. Let's thank them.
Disney, but here's the thing too, and maybe this is a problem in American society. I think people want all of these big, huge companies to operate by moral and value by also being super profitable. Unfortunately, that's not the way things always work. And business is business. Am I saying could they have chosen anywhere else? Probably to film that movie. And do they definitely have the money to do it? And then it comes down to the creative end, right? Of aesthetically, did it have what we wanted? Did we have the permits? Did they get all the licenses? Did it take years? People don't remember exactly all the time what goes behind even putting a production in. And so who knows, by the time that was all happening, maybe whoever was making those decisions wasn't as informed, not thinking about the repercussions that just filming in this location could be. And I don't know. I just feel like business, sometimes it can get a little tricky. If you want these big, huge billionaire moguls always operating with integrity and morale. Not that they shouldn't, but it's just like, I don't know. That specific one, I don't know if they're endorsing slavery by saying thank you for letting us film here. Could they have picked anywhere else to film? Yeah. So I don't know.
Very. Who knows at this point? We'll see what happens, but. Right now, it is profitable to be socially aware, to be woke. Colin Kaepernick, Nike, they always seize that opportunity, the fist pump, all that good stuff. They've always been. But you're right; it's always at a convenient time. It's not because they run sweatshops to this day, Nike. So it is right now popular to be woke, but you're right. These companies that have these legacy companies just switching gears, it's fake. And
anyway, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, right. It's all a business decision. So I don't know.
Back to Pedro Pascal. I don't know if you play any video games, but they're adapting The Last of Us, and that is going to be on HBO Max as well. And he's going to be co-starring. I don't know if you watch Game of Thrones, but one of the young actresses, she's going to be. So right now, The Last of Us, that's Joel and I forgot the other one's name. I've played both of them. And Ellie. So Joel is, so The Last of Us is an apocalyptic game. It's a zombie apocalypse, and this older man and this random 14-year-old girl, they never met before until the zombie apocalypse, and they decide to survive together. And so they go throughout the whole thing, and they try to find out the origin of the virus, blah, blah, blah. Very like Omega Man, very much like the Will Smith movie, especially the scenery. So the game is very popular. The game has sold millions and millions of copies. And Bella Ramsey, she was Leanna Mormont. She's going to be Ellie, and Pedro Pascal is going to be Joel. Joel's right in the video game, which is pretty cool. So Pedro Pascal is going to play that. And have you seen Game of Thrones? Have you seen?
No, I haven't seen Game of Thrones, but I've heard of this game though.
Oh,
and I like adaptions, and I like stuff like that. So nice. I'm down to see it. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
And it's very highly anticipated.
I felt like, and I could be totally wrong, but did you ever see that movie? It's an old scary movie. What is it called?
It's called Facepalm. No, I'm joking.
It's that video game where there's like this woman, and then they're playing this game.
Weird
and
Science.
They're playing this game, and then all of a sudden they're in the game, like in real life, and it's like this woman that's like this evil kid. I'm gonna go crazy now about it.
Oh man, damn! I thought it was Weird Science, but once you said like the tentacles and the video,
no, not tentacles. It's like this old lady. Is it Stay Alive? Stay Alive. That's it. Stay Alive. Stay Alive.
I didn't see that. I need to see that.
That was good. I don't know if that was
that. I have heard of that movie. Oh man, good one. Good reference. Damn, I need to watch that.
No, it was good. So I was like, I don't know. I don't know if it's at all similar. People might be watching this and be like, she's silly.
No, I think it is, actually. I've never seen it, but it does. No, I got you. We hear and we hear. So real quick, so we can get to the interview portion with our lovely Mariah Bailey, a producer from The Maury Show, a very talented producer. NBC. Oh, your home base, the mother town, NBC Universal. They are talking to HBO Max right now, but nothing's official. It's just that this is the trend that we're going to see. So we're just giving you a heads up. Nothing has happened, but a lot of these streaming, we've talked about the streaming wars, and the losers are going to, just like any other American business, like Anheuser-Busch, when a lot of the microbreweries, when we had this influx of microbreweries, like every state had a brewery. Now that's died down a little bit because Anheuser-Busch, Coors, all of them, they bought them out. So now they're all under that umbrella, and that's what's going to happen with streaming. You're going to have Pluto TV, you're going to have all these little ones, they're going to get bought up by HBO, and then you're going to have the big titans like Netflix, Disney, and they're going to be watching out too of who they could scoop up. Is there a streaming service that you wish that could team up their catalog?
I mean, this would never, ever happen, but I would, it would never happen. Netflix and Hulu.
That'd be cool.
That would be super cool. Or even if like Amazon Prime and Hulu came out with like a series, because they have creatively wise, they have like, Prime comes out with so many different kinds of stuff, in Hulu. They have a really good niche in like the comedy. They have a good niche with like the younger audience. And I think that would be I think that would be really cool. And Disney Plus, Disney's starting to come out with some great shows as well. But the smartest thing is that all of these networks need to team up with these streaming services because that's what's happening. I feel like Amazon Prime was the first one to get a hunch on it because they're the first ones offering packages for like Stars and also, Cinemax and HBO and HBO Max and all that other stuff. And so if they want to survive this, a lot of these companies, they hate our generation because we're the cord cutters. We're the ones that's like, we're not paying for cable. Like, whatever. So if you want to survive this, you need to team up. It's going to be important for.
I was assuming you're a millennial. My bad.
I am. No, I am. It's going to be important for networks to team up with these streaming services. I'm still waiting for the Avengers to come out. I think it's really selfish that they haven't.
Which Avengers?
We're supposed to have one more. One more was supposed to come out last summer, and they held on to it.
You're talking about one of the Avengers movie. What's her name? Black Widow. Black Widow.
That was ScarJo. Place 2. Come on, just release it. Put it on a streaming service so that we can just buy it and watch it. So it's like a lot of because even the film industry, they're being really. Impacted by this too, because it doesn't even matter if they sell you a $20 a ticket. I can have 30 people in my house. You know what? They're not making the same amount of money that they're making.
Cuomo, you heard that? You heard that? I'm snitching. I'm joking.
Listen, but yeah. But no, it would be cool if they're the Prime, Hulu, and Netflix. Those are the big powerhouses. And so I doubt that they would ever mix with each other. But I really think definitely Prime and Hulu, if they mixed on a certain show, I think they would be so great. Look at Apple TV. Apple TV, that cult company, is trying to come out now and trying to do really good stuff. And they have a lot of great shows too that I feel like are actually getting nominated this year. And I could be speaking too soon, but I think they got
For All Mankind. For All Mankind is coming out with the second season. They have the Dickinson show, the one where it's the modern version of
Aniston. People love that one.
Yes. I actually there's a few shows on Apple TV I watch. I watched Ted Lasso. I watched Servant. That's the M. Night Shyamalan show, which is really good. That's on its second season. Oh, no, I like Apple TV. And like you said, with Amazon, they do curation also on there too. They highlight whatever streaming services you have, which I like. I like that Amazon does that, and I like that Apple does that. I wish the other ones did that too. Because
and it gives you that option. And then, like Netflix, I feel like they're becoming old news to a certain extent because when they were around, it was when people were trying to not use Stars and not use HBO anymore to put their specials and their content, and because Netflix created that outlet. But now, because they're the big bad wolf, it's the money. It's always coming down to money now.
True.
It's all the politics, and so now I feel like that's why things are rising up in Prime, and things are even rising up with Disney and Apple TV, and so I feel like they should, follow suit with offering.
Well, buckle up because Netflix ain't going anywhere because they were in the red for years and they were spending the most on content. And now they have made an announcement that in 3 years, they're going to be in the black. They're actually going to start making a profit for the first time in their company's history. Can you imagine that? They've been around for almost 20 years and they have not made a profit. They just keep borrowing and borrowing more money, and it paid off. They were going against HBO.
They're not down Blockbuster. There's a whole generation of people that don't even know what I just said, and that's crazy. Like
what I just said.
Blockbuster, my candy from Blockbuster. I used to
what?
Blockbuster. What are you talking about? Right. So they took that entire company out. So that's an achievement in and of itself. And I mean, Jeff,
the former CEO of Blockbuster mentions Netflix all the time. They had an option, and they laughed at Netflix. They laughed. And you're right. Blockbuster did it later. They were like, "Well, let's start putting our DVDs in envelopes."
Well, Blockbuster, he had the option of partnering up with Netflix.
Dumbass.
He said, "No, that's stupid. People are not going to stream their movies." Idiot. And that's what happens when, big companies, that's what happens when you don't want to listen to young people and new ideas.
This is true.
That's what happens. We will take you out. We will take you out.
Canceling, man. We'll get your ass out of here, man. Anyway, you know what I forgot to mention when you were talking about, we were talking about the N-word. You got to turn a negative into a positive, baby.
Yeah.
Let's get into the interview portion of the lovely, talented, stupendous Mariah Bailey.
Tomorrow is tuna casserole.
Hooray! What the fuck did I say?
Here we are. Like I said, she's a producer. She went to the Tisch School. She went to NYU. Fucking amazing. I forgot about that. She mentioned that at the panel that we did together with Propelled Media. Shout out to them again. We did a panel for a graduation of young ladies that are entering in similar fields that we're in. Like I said, she's a producer. I'm a content manager and producer. Get into it, man. The brand is strong with you. The brand is strong. You are glowing. The glow up.
Like you. I mean, yeah, I don't want to get into my whole story too crazy, but yeah, I went to Tisch School of the Arts, went there basically on a full ride, which was super awesome because NYU was $277,000.
That black box is expensive, girl.
Insane. But you know, I grew up in the Bronx. I'm first generation to go.
Oh, the brand really is strong with you, huh?
Grew up in the Bronx. And so it was, you know, definitely going to NYU was a bit of a culture shock for me, but it was awesome. I graduated with $12,000 in loans, and that was it. And I paid it off within a year, so that was great. And
good job, Maury. Good job. Good. Get that right. Get that right.
Thanks, Maury. I initially got into school wanting to be an actress, and I did not really like the acting world anymore. Just sophomore year, I realized, number one, I was way too bossy to be an actress. I was like, yeah, being a producer is a much better fit for me. But
bossy to be an actress. I've never heard that before. I thought that was a good trait for an actress.
But it's just, you know, as an actress in NYU, the reason why it was so expensive is because we literally had celebrities as teachers. Like James Franco was a teacher. Spike Lee was a teacher.
Hold up. Was his cup on or off when he was teaching?
Who?
James Franco.
Well, I didn't have him as a teacher. I didn't have
Good. I was about to say, man, don't get violated by him.
I did not have him as a teacher, but I would see him like working with students. You know, to be normal, you know what I mean? Like the Sprouse twins, Zach and Cody Sprouse, they were in my grad.
That's right, the sweet life.
But yeah, like, and so, and the advantage of that is that you got that real life experience. And I had people in the TV and film portion tell me straight up, hey, Mariah, because of the way you look, you'll get a part. And I hate the over-sexualization of women of color. That's been something that I personally have had to battle my whole life, that people think this is pretty and they don't really care about what I have to say.
They mentioned that on Black as Fuck. Have you ever seen that show? What's her name?
I've heard of that show.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I've never watched Blackish. I've never watched Mixish. I've never watched any of that. But Black as Fuck, Kenya Barris and my homegirl, Quincy Jones' daughter. Damn, how did I forget her name? Tamika Jones. Is it Tamika Jones? She's amazing. She's another great producer. But she mentions that. She mentions that if you're a black female in America, and she shows the history of America over-sexualizing and making the black female in this country grow up way too fast.
And honestly, and it didn't start in America, and like not to bore you with a history lesson, but it really started back in the 1800s when literally European, I don't know who, I don't want to say colonizers because that's going to come off the
colonizers, the imperialists.
They went over to Africa, found a woman that had these crazy assets, literally captured her, put her up for show, put her in a cage.
Yeah,
and
like a circus.
People were allowed to go in to touch her because they were so taken aback by her assets because she had some big butts and some big boobies and what was totally normal in her society. They were enthralled with it.
That's fertility, fertility art over there.
The amount of times that I had people, telling me, and then this is the sad part, growing up, like you're really pretty for a black girl, or like, wow, what do you mix with, or you got to be mixed with something. And so even being an attractive woman of color, you can't just be all black, And so there's it's like it's weird. It's and even for instance, I know it came out a few years ago. That woman who was a teacher, she was wearing a turtleneck dress and she was called inappropriate and parents wanted her fired because she has a body. What is she supposed to do? What are you talking about? If Becky next to her wore the same dress, it wouldn't be a problem. Why? Because she has assets and Becky doesn't, so she's not allowed. What are you talking? Like, that's dumb. And
I should have got expelled in high school for wearing sweatpants, to be honest. So I see what you're saying.
Right, boys, sweatpants, confusing little girls,
Confusing me.
distracting us in school.
Right? Get that sock out of there.
Exactly. And so, you know, I didn't really appreciate that or like that when it came to pursuing that career, especially because I had friends, you know, who weren't as lucky as me and who did have to pay for school. And so sometimes people would end up like in rehab centers. People would end up in psychiatric units. Like people were quitting school to go back home just to save up money just to come back to NYU.
They were doing this before they became professional actors? Holy shit.
And so that's the whole issue is, the whole issue with that is that because of the training, it was just so... you know what I mean? Like it was a lot. Like sometimes people would tease me and say stuff like, oh, well, you know, you doing this acting training, it isn't rocket science. And I'm just like, no, rocket science is actually a lot easier to study. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you
bring on some quantum physics, please.
Right. You can just study your butt off for that. When you're in this training, it's a whole other animal. It's like you're in it. You have to face your demons. I've seen people literally have mental breakdowns in front of me because of, it's the conditioning and it's...
I've seen it. You're right.
People do the method acting and people think those, you know, when Johnny Depp and those people are weird. No, these are proven techniques. And so, you know, Daniel Day-Lewis. Yes. Daniel Day-Lewis. One of my teachers had a funny story about him. Like, he was trying to prepare for a role and for like a week he would be in his bathtub because he was an alligator or something like that. I don't know what happened. He would only pop up and he'd be like,
fucking weirdo.
I know, but that training is
he has 3 Academy Awards, so I can't really hate too hard.
You can't be all the way up there. You can't.
No friends, but 3 Academy Awards.
And so, just as a woman of color, and just wanting to take care of my family, wanting to be that example, I decided that acting wasn't for me. So I kind of just went full force into producing, and I threw myself into everything. I mean, during school, I was taking 18 credits a semester. Plus I did a 20-hour weekly internship at some place. Plus I did an independent project. So by the time I graduated NYU, it was great because I had produced at that point live concerts. I had produced music festivals, like play festivals, documentaries, short films, webisode series, theater, like branded entertainment. I worked with Condé Nast. And so like, you know, it's been great. And then I was lucky enough that, 6 months outside of college, I ended up getting a job down with NBC Universal. And even the way I got that job, you know, it was not I applied through NBC. I was on LinkedIn, making connections, just putting myself out there. And then I ended up connecting with a production coordinator. She got the interview for me to be a production assistant. And I was stoked because I loved Maury growing up. And you know, I was an assistant there for about 6 months before I got promoted to be an associate producer, which was super cool because no one had gotten promoted in about 6 or 7 years before that had happened. And then I was the youngest producer there for a minute. And then it was great because my first year as an associate producer, all the production assistants that were there, I helped train them up. So within the next year, they all got promoted. And so now our office is equal down the middle, you know, old school, new school kind of stuff.
That's sick. That's really good.
Yeah. And now I'm a segment producer, which means I kind of just swing in between the lead producer and mid-level producer roles whenever they want. But it's cool, you know, and, we've come up with I've been able to contribute in other ways other than just, on the producing end and having those compelling stories, like being able to talk to my bosses and pitch ideas when it comes to marketing. I came up with just creating the QR code for our show to get more people to be engaged.
Oh, that's awesome. Nice innovation.
And it was funny too, because when I had first came up with the idea, when we were in our pitch meeting, no one really knew what I was talking about. And not to
that old school, new school, man. That's why they need that.
Right? Yeah, they're like, what are you talking about? You know, our guests don't have these phones, and our guests don't have this.
Of course they do.
Like, yeah, they did. Right.
95% of the globe has cell phones.
They give you the burner phone. They have this cell phone, but then that was great because a year later, my boss pitched that to our marketing corporate, and they were able to implement that across Jerry Springer, Steve Wilkos, our show. So that was cool.
I saw Steve Wilkos in your story recently. Yes.
So when we did that fun thing with Maury, that was hilarious. Even when it comes to just the functionality of certain things, especially in the digital realm, my boss did a really good job this year about inviting any ideas. And he really looked to all the associate and segment producers because we're the younger
is that Maury or is that a higher producer?
At Maury. Oh, no,
okay.
At Maury.
Okay, gotcha. No, I meant that was Maury himself enabling you guys to come up with more ideas.
Oh, not Maury himself. My Paul Slaugher, my executive producer.
Gotcha.
Sorry about that.
Gotcha.
My executive producer, and just saying, all right, let's get ahead of the curve of trying to figure out this digital world. And it's so funny, and I know that people are probably losing their minds, but we're tied up with like Ellen DeGeneres now. We're tied up with Dr. Phil, and we haven't been tied with them in a minute. And I think
they're doing a very good job with that. I noticed myself.
It's really cool. And we haven't lost the traction. We haven't lost the heat, the entertainment portion of it all. And
how long were you guys out when we first shut down? I remember that they suspended. You guys suspended production for a little while.
Yeah, well, we went on our normal hiatus.
That was normal with the scheduling.
Yeah, so it's been, listen, it used to be sweet back in the day. We used to be in production for 10 months a year, get paid all year. Now we got, investing in different projects. Because I've worked on different pilots and stuff like that with NBC too, which is really awesome. But now, I got kind of cut down to 30 weeks a year. So during the time that COVID actually happened, we ended our season, I think, a week or two early. But it was, you know what I mean? We came back pretty much the same time. We came back in late July. And then that's when we were figuring a lot of things out. And it was quite the adjustment because, especially as TV producers and conflict TV producers, we're always like, my hours, I work 17 hours a day sometimes. Like it's just, wow. I know this is why on Valentine's Day I can film this with you because I'm single. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't have time for that.
Can I squeeze in? Can I?
Right. It's like, okay, I have a 2-hour period right here. And now being able to work from home, I think it's really awesome because people who are moms, and have kids in school or people who have sick parents or who have a lot going on, right? We're able to like reclaim that time a little bit. And so that's nice being able to work from home and it still be crazy. And I think it's funner because part of my job is to legally and medically clear people. So, if people are on probation or parole, I got to get that note. Somebody has some health issues. Yep, that is my job.
Oh, you get all the waiver forms, all the NDAs and shit. Oh,
yes. I got to do all that. And with filming them from home, just stay home. Like, I don't have to deal with anything.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with all the drama because stories for days. I don't know if I could talk about them, but stories for days of like people.
At your discretion, of course.
Yes. Of people, of us dealing with the reality. Like what you guys see on TV is the cleaned up, polished version of these people. None of it's fake. None of it is fabricated. These people are very, very, very real. So it's just awesome that we've been able to, and even Maury, he's so fun. Like even that video you were talking about on my story, he, unlike some other hosts, he is all about connecting to the young generation. He's all about like, I'll do whatever digital TikTok. He doesn't know what the heck you're talking about.
He has a younger son too, right? Doesn't he have a young son?
Yeah. Yes, he does. But he just, even when I first started with him and we had our live audiences, the funny things that he would just say.
Seems like a funny guy. Connie Chung is funny too, by the way. Every time I see an interview with her, she's hilarious too.
She's hilarious. They're the cutest thing ever.
They are cute.
And Maury, it's nice because Maury cares. Like he genuinely cares about the guests. He knows these guests inside and out. And he goes above and beyond.
So it's safe to say you're not moving to Ellen. It's safe to say that's not your next move.
It's safe to say that's not happening. No.
You're not going to Steve Harvey? Hold on, Steve Harvey's not trying to hire him? No?
Oh, no. No. I'm good. good.
Good. What is your favorite pitch other than the innovative stuff? What is like your favorite pitch that your idea that became an episode?
Oh, well, I mean, I control that every week. So
what's your favorite one? What's your pride and joy? Which one did you look at the TV and go, damn, I did that? Because you're right. It does, because you do it so much, like it becomes like robotic and repetitive and routine. But I'm sure there was a moment where you were just like, damn, I'm so happy that got on the screen.
Honestly, and this may be a surprise, but I had the opportunity a year or two ago, about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, to produce a special digital segment on these two twins. And I love Fabian, and he's going to kill me for forgetting his name. It's not on the screen right now. I love you both, though. I love you both so much.
So she says.
Angel, I love you, Angel, Fabian. And these guys, they are transgender twins. They were born women. And
they might make the new Matrix movie. No, I'm joking. The Wachowski sisters.
They transitioned, and what was so interesting is that I produced a segment that what we spoke about was that they actually had endured more discrimination being seen as Black men in America than actually becoming transgender.
Get out of here.
And it was so interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Because again, they got more backlash. You know, of course they got backlash for being transgender, because unfortunately that's what's going to happen. They're like, no, being seen as a Black man in America. And we talked about all the different, because they were born women. So they obviously know, they're like, and we talked about so many different instances. And so we were just I'm just always happy when I'm able to shine any kind of light on those kinds of discriminations, inequality, especially our platform does not, I don't know how, like, our viewership when it comes to the LGBTQ community is getting so much better. And I feel like that helped, you know, because you saw these two guys talking about it. Yeah, these two guys are talking about what they have to go through in life every single day. And when you're able to see, wow, these guys, they have a very unique perspective in every way, shape, or form. I just felt like it helped promote tolerance, you know, and open up that conversation. So that was like one of my biggest pride and joys, that I was just able to, I went to my boss and I said, I want to work on this. Like, please work on this. And even recently we were able to work with Karamo Brown. He's from Queer Eye.
Ooh, yeah.
He's amazing.
Yes,
He's
I know.
a fantastic human being. And NBC has been developing some talent with him, and I had the privilege to work with him on a couple of shows. And because one thing about Maury is unique, and a lot of TV shows have tried to do, you know, DNA tests, try to do that conflict resolution thing, but it just doesn't work the same way.
Maury is the best at it.
Maury's the best at it, and so
only one at it. I don't want to see anybody else do that.
Other people have you don't want to see anyone else do it. So
no, I don't actually.
It just doesn't work. No. And it was just so cool working with Karamo Brown, because he has his own crazy story. And if you haven't picked up his book is great. And he just talks about, you know, his overcome and him. He used to be an addict. He used to be in an abusive relationship. He talks about the fact that, you know, he was trained as a psychotherapist, which is really cool. And
damn, how long is his book? It's like 600 pages.
He's so amazing. He's a single dad, 2 boys, and a gay man, but like, he was able to genuinely connect and work with these guests in a way that I only saw Maury be able to do, because we had other people in, like Gary Owen. We have a few people in and out that we tried to work with, and so that was super. It was just really exciting to see him in action, to see him work with these guests, and, you know, help them from a different angle, because, you know, because you do this all the time, and it does just become a part of your DNA. It's always rewarding when you find those certain guests that, you know, you really help them, you know, and it makes it worth it. I mean, the fun, crazy stuff is good too.
No worries. I've kept you here a long time, so I have 2 more questions. Really, one quick follow up. During the panel that we did together, I was impressed. I'm never not going to be impressed with you. But one of the things I was impressed with, I was literally sitting in this spot when I did that panel, And I went to talk to people in my house right out. I threw down my headphone. I was like, my God, this woman is amazing. Like, I really did that. I really was like, my God, I was on the same panel as a person from Maury, blah, blah, blah. And so, my question is follow up to what you were saying with the results. That's actually real. His reactions to that.
Oh yeah,
I want you to elaborate on that, please.
That's his rule. Actually, his rule is he does not want to know about the results. He wants to be with the guests. He wants to live like genuinely in person. So yeah, when Maury reads the results, he's reading them for the first time. The guests, that's the first time they hear it as well. Sometimes people think that he knows the results beforehand. He's like, no, he does not know the results beforehand at all.
All right. One more question before I bore you to tears. I see that over there.
Oh, no, my allergies just started acting about it nowhere. I'm like, oh, my God.
I'm joking. My last question is what is next in the media landscape for you? You have done it all pretty much. And I want to know what is the next peak?
Yeah. So, I mean, the next peak for me, I think I do want to see more into retirement, to be honest.
Good. And you deserve that, to be honest.
Yeah. Like he's so great. And I really want to go into the digital media realm. I do. But the real plan is to get stinking rich and create other assets in my spare time so that I can really go back to theater, because that's where my true heart and soul is. Whenever I produce anything theater wise, it just provides a platform for you to have more than one conversation on more than one level. And you can comment on social and political things. You can talk about anything.
Are you open to being back on screen, or do you just want to be on the stage?
I'm not interested in being on screen, but it's funny because everyone is always like, you look like an actress, or you need to be an actress, or when I write this, you better act in it. And I'm like, listen, if you give me a paycheck, I'm going to take it and I'll do whatever you want me to do to a certain extent. But I'm not interested necessarily in like having my own show or being on camera. I really just want to be that facilitator. And I want a lot of theater artists, whether you're working on the technical end or you're in the production or you're the talent, you don't make money. And I think it's crap, because being a theater performer, even, it takes a way different skill level than being on film. And like, you have to be really talented to be on
Cecily Tyson. We talked about her last week. There's so many. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention the music portion. R.I.P. to Mary from the Supremes. I forgot to mention that. Sorry. Keep going.
And that's why, people, even with acting training, right? It's very much easier to be theatrically trained and then go from theater to TV than the reverse. And I think it's crap that there are so many people who make strides. I had teachers who were acting coaches for celebrities, like Hilary Swank. I sat next to one of my teachers, and I saw a Hilary Swank text message. I was like, no.
Academy Award winner. Whoa.
I was like, Hilary Swank texting you? He's like, mind your business. I was like, wait, what? It was like,
$1 million text, bitch. Like, get out of here.
Like, I want to be able to help artists make money. I want to fix that, because I honestly went into TV for an income. I'm not interested in being that starving artist. I'm good.
Same, actually.
And so I wanted, to create that for myself. But that's really the biggest biggest dream. And to bring sponsorships in theater. I don't understand why paid sponsorships happen in film and TV, but they don't happen in theater. So I feel like I need to figure something out. But that
more Shakespeare in the Park. Shakespeare in the Park is very heavily sponsored. But that definitely right. I never thought of that. That's true.
Think about it. Like, the Pepsi is going to give you $500,000 because you drank a whole Pepsi Cola for a minute and it was showed on TV. Like, how can we somehow bring that culture into theater? And so that now
the ad placements,
probably product placement. And so that now all these off-Broadway shows, or even these Broadway shows, they're able to be sponsored by Nike, sponsored by whatever. Who cares? Because now it's still the same show. A lot of shows are not going
to come back after COVID. You're right. They lost a lot of money.
They're not. And it's going to be really hard. So many Broadway houses are closing down. So I feel like, I want to do that.
I could definitely see you doing that, and you will definitely conquer that and crush that. And you've crushed everything, so I have no doubts in you at all. No, seriously, and I appreciate you bringing up some really poignant points. The Black history of the female body, the condition, all those things. Man, you were incredibly intelligent. I knew that already, but like you found a way to impress me even more. How the hell did that happen?
Thanks.
No problem. No, it comes from the heart, man. It comes from the heart. No, is there anything else you would like to share here? This is your segment.
No, I think I'm all good. Thank you, though. I appreciate this time. This was
Where can
fun.
we find you? Where do you not want us to find you? We'll float over there. What are the handles you want people to notice you on?
I mean, I have an Instagram. Anyone wants to go on my Instagram? That's about it. I'm not super savvy into anything else, but I mean, hey.
You have a website?
No, I don't.
Oh, I'm shocked.
I have a LinkedIn.
Get that too.
I have a LinkedIn. I feel like that helps. More than enough.
You're at NBC University.
Yeah.
It definitely helps.
Yeah, I have a LinkedIn. But a personal site, it just never seemed like it made all that much sense to me.
All good. No Twitter, no nothing, no Clubhouse, no
TikTok. So many people have sent me Clubhouse, and I need to...
You should. That would be great for you. And now you have an iPhone. I have an Android, but I also have an iPhone. So I just
joined the iPhone.
I saw you.
I was not happy.
Android, but I like iPhones too. They're great.
I know. I am all the way team Android, but because I do some side work in addition to Maury, in the business
iPhones are better. Apple's better for media.
It just makes more sense, even just like on the business end of things, to help everyone's on an iPhone, and so it's like it helps communication. iPhone's a cult company, and so and they make it very difficult for you to communicate with people who have Androids in the same kind of way that's efficient. So rude. And realistically, too, like what you said, a lot of companies now, they just want you savvy in iMovie. Like we send our guests, even for the show, we send them iPhone 11s and iPhone 12s for the show. Like that's what they film on.
They will record the news from iPhone Pro Max.
Right. And so it makes more sense. I resisted for a long time. And people are so petty. I think at least 60 people texted me just to see my blue bubbles. They're like, I'm petty. Like, y'all petty. Y'all are all petty. So they're like, I'm going to text you right now. I'm going to text you right now. They're like, come on, blue bubbles. They're like, you have no idea how long I've waited for this. I was like, oh, what?
There's some people who won't text me because of that. There's some people that go, Vince, I don't like texting because I don't like seeing the green bubble.
Ignorant. Like, what? What's wrong with green?
Blue bubble. What the fuck?
Company. But I've officially switched over. I know Clubhouse now.
I'll invite you
on Clubhouse.
Oh no, you said you've been invited already.
No, I've been invited. So I just need to get on it. But yeah, I mean, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook.
Good. Well, you are a shining star. That's the only reason why I wanted people to see you and stuff like that. They could see you on the podcast. Great. Again, Mariah Bailey, a segment producer for Maury. She will be a producer of many things after this. Maury is not going to retire tomorrow, but he's definitely at the end stage of his career, and he's still going strong. I love him. I'm still a big fan of the show. Again, as soon as you said Maury when we were at the panel, and then even more things that were coming out your mouth, it was just a delight. And I'm so happy that you came on this show. But we're going to get out of here because I can't keep you hostage forever.
Sounds good.
So you can catch the show. You can catch us on Keep Up NYC. That's our Instagram account. You can catch me on stillvinsane, STILL, not the cool J, but Vinsane. And then you can catch me stillvinsane.com. You can get me on Cash App. We're independent media. So if you want to send us a little donation, that works. That's how we accept that. I gave up on Patreon. We don't have enough tiers for that. One day we'll get back on that. Facebook, we are Keep Up Shut Up, and we are also on LinkedIn, and we are on there's one more. Oh, YouTube. If you want to type in Still Insane, you will see this episode. We're a little backed up. I had to update my software. My Final Cut Pro was fucking up. Apple. Asshole.
Apple.
So I had to get a whole new software. So the newest video that was published today actually was episode 96. This is episode 98. So it will probably be published the same time as 97. Sorry for people that were looking for 97. You're going to get it the same day as 98 with Mariah. And last week's episode was Karol, the Black Expat. That was amazing. So let's get the fuck out of here. You better shut the fuck up, listen up, and keep up with my homegirl Mariah Bailey and Still Insane. Over and out, homies.